Howdy, nerds! It has been a while since I have streamed on the Rogue Market. Have we even streamed on the Rogue Market? I got here a booster box of Commander Legends because it was damaged. So I thought I'd just hang out. And big shout out to Bacon Bombs for sponsoring this video so we can actually not have to send this back to distributor because it's kind of a pain in the butt. When you get damaged product into distributors, send it back to them and wait for a refund or a replacement, whatnot. So I got some damaged Baldur's Gate draft boosters. I don't think any of the cards are damaged in them or packs are damaged in them. So I think that we can have some fun, talk about the market of the Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate and the seemingly endless supply, because this is like the 20th dump that Wizards of the Coast has done for this product. And then we can just talk the overall market and hopefully hang out. Hopefully everything is going well on the YouTube. So let me try to pull up chat here now that I lost my chat. There's my chat. So everything, you guys can actually hear me in the chat. I tried to change the name of the stream, and I'm so terrible that I can't even change the name of the stream to something else. So it's going to be the Rogue Market live stream. It's just That's what it's going to be. How's everyone doing? It's been, like I said, a while since I've done any sort of stream on here on the Rogue Market channel. And huge shout out to all the new followers. My last video, I mean, for my channel went, I don't want to say viral. That's not the right word for it. But, man, went from like 500 views to 11,000 views. I can never figure out the YouTube algorithm. It's such a... I give up. I give up trying to do it, but maybe you'll see a lot more product openings from me in the future here for this channel, or maybe I'll do it on the Gonor Games channel, the Rogue Deck Builder channel. Spoiler, I will have a video out for Rogue Deck Builder, hopefully later today. I'm trying to get some cool footage of the deck I've been working on for the Rogue Deck Builder. Yes, I still play Magic occasionally. Occasionally is the key word, because I can only take so much of Arena before I just want to actually throw a kitten at the screen because of all the ropers and all of the poor matter. The more and more I play Magic the Gathering, the more and more that I have been in this gaming community, the more and more I hate gamers, which is a terrible thing to say when you own a game store. But, man, the piss poor behavior and attitude from the average gamer just, again, makes me want to punch kittens. It's just awful. I just can't take... I can only take Arena in doses before I just want to strangle people. So that, and just the way that Arena works and how it really pushes people to play tier decks, and very, very tough to switch between decks because of how expensive it is, because on MTGO you can actually buy cards for super cheap if it's not a tier deck. But if it is a tier deck, if it's not a tier deck on Arena, it's the same amount for Mythics as it is for any Mythic. So you can get a Shouldered for the same cost as you can get some, Jank Mythic. And if you know me, I used to build a lot of Jank decks. So anyway, what's I talking about here with the Baldur's Gate? So let's talk about this product here, and maybe I'll get to some shout-outs here for, of course, Bacon Moms. We've got Roker in here. We got, Roskred. That's an old name. We got Andrew in here as well. Howdy, guys. Hope all is well. So Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate has been going on for $75 is how much the distributor. It's a little bit cheaper than that, but through kind of the PayPal fees and shipping fees and all the other stuff, that the cost of me actually getting it to the front door, that is how much I'm charging patrons right now. This sucker did go back on back order, but after talking to distributors, there should be more of this product still coming at that $75. Could even be cheaper. Who knows? This price fluctuates like crazy. Now, Battle for Baldur's Gate. This set was absolutely rejected. So, little bit of story time about Baldur's Gate. This was the set that burned me big. I lost a lot of money on this. So, eventually I was able to liquidate it all. But I took probably around $10,000 to $20,000 loss on Baldur's Gate. Now, a little bit of story time, and this is where I think I flew too close to the sun. I got a little too just comfortable with how things were going. This was the set when the market turned, and up until this point, I felt like that I'd missed a lot of opportunity on being able to serve my patrons in a timely manner. So, okay, back up. Let's just kind of... I want to kind of explain where this channel's evolved, because this channel's actually been around for a long time, I've noticed. I think that one of the very first videos I ever made on my Rogue Deck Builder channel was called The Rogue Market, and then I realized that my audiences were a lot different from the Rogue Market to the Rogue Deck Builder. And then so eventually I wanted to separate the two. And I made the Rogue Market channel. So, I used to just do this channel about managing a collection, trading for cards. One of my bread and butters of when I was a player was to get on specs before the legacy deck or modern deck of the time spiked a card, and then just rinse and repeat. Like I would buy into standard when standard was hot, sell before rotation, move everything into modern, and then again just rinse and repeat. And like even would take a bunch of cards to Grand Prix to trade for sleeves. I remember like doing little grindy things like that. So my whole goal was I never wanted to pay for Magic the Gathering. I wanted to, if this was going to be a hobby and if I was going to take this hobby seriously, and it was a very expensive hobby, then I didn't want to be paying out of pocket for it. And so that was kind of the feel of the Rogue Market. So my channels were going pretty good. I did videos for cool stuff. I did videos for a few other sponsors. And then we had the 2018 where I was a naughty boy on Twitter and I got canceled basically. So my sponsorships dropped me and I was left kind of in a free fall of what to do. And so I started a Patreon because I guess we should back up a little bit. Here in little old Richfield, Utah, there was no place to play Magic the Gathering, and I really, really wanted, me and my buddy Zach wanted a place to play, so we scrounged together the little bit of money that we had, and we actually started a store here called Gone Rogue Games, ta-da, here in Richfield, Utah. And it's still a very, very small store. I mean, we have like, I don't know, I think there's like 10 or 15, I think there's like 15 people back there playing Commander right now. So I mean, it's good for the community. It's we are happy with what it's been able to accomplish, but the writing was really on the wall of how far I could actually scale this business. And something at local game stores too is it's not really a one-for-one scaling. Like the more effort you put into a point, you see that come back, an equal effort, like equal reward for the effort. But once you start putting a lot more into marketing and a lot more into time putting into it, you see a lot less. There's a lot of diminishing returns. And so I saw the writing on the wall with Gone Rogue Games that, we weren't going to be able to scale this to where I'd be comfortable living. And so I was approached by one of my patrons after I kind of relied on that cool stuff and some of these other sponsorships that I had for paying my bills. And once I lost that, I was actually, one of my long-term viewers reached out and said, "Hey, Kevin, I was so against Patreon. I was so against, e-begging, because I always felt like that you should work for what you receive." And finally, one of my longtime viewers and person I communicated with a lot, he just said, "Hey, I'll just sponsor you right now. You lost your sponsorships. I will pay you $250 a month. You'll start a Patreon." Like, sure, I'll do it. And I didn't think it'd go anywhere. And it still didn't really sit well with me that people were just paying for nothing. At first, we opened up packs, and that was a huge grind to do. But eventually, I came up with this plan that, hey, I got a store. I've got all this experience. I like being kind of curating items for people to buy. And I decided that, let's start this Patreon subscription service. That way people that sign up, it's no skin off my back. You pay money up front. And that way I have no risk. Then I have no problems getting you product, because as long as it doesn't go against my allocations or hurt what I can get for the store, then then I'm fine with providing that service. So it became this like you scratch my back, I scratch your back operation, and it took off a lot higher than my wildest expectations. And then I got to the point where it was like, okay, this whole money up front thing was creating like this really sluggish way for me to get product for patrons. So, I'd have to wait until it cleared, then wait till that cleared with the distributors, then the distributors ship it to me, and then I'd ship it to distributors. So it was this very, very just slow, sluggish way of getting product to patrons. And there'd be like weeks of delay a lot of times for products to be able to get in the hands of patrons. So once the Patreon actually took off, I decided that, okay, I've got enough money coming in, I have enough, free capital, that I will just, how many sold the last set? Okay, I will buy X amount of units because my patrons will eat it up eventually. And then I won't have to worry about it because then I can just, pass on that, the delay will get cut because I'll already have the product. And as long as I'm not having to pay, credit card fees and things like that, that's fine. And it was going pretty well. I was starting to build up inventory and build up this, and, patrons were always stripping away And one thing also that would happen is I'd keep like 10% back or 15% back of any set release, and then we'd use a thing on our Discord called Bucko's House of Booty, where I'd put the rest up for auction after it became unavailable to order. So then it started, that was another revenue stream I was able to do, is once these things came out of print, then I'd have some supply to then incentivize people to use the Bucko's House of Booty and order it. So anyway, I went out on a limb and started doing that with a lot of sets, and it just seemed to be the worst, the perfect storm for when I had a lot of free capital, and this stupid set came out. And initially, the demand for this sucker was huge. Like, people thought this was going to be like Commander Legends 1. And so I remember I went all in on this stupid set, thinking that it would have good demand, and thinking, I'm like, I was just watching spoiler season, like, eventually the sucker is going to, they're going to spoil something good, like a Jeweled Lotus in here, or a Mana Drain or something, and then the demand will shoot up. And I just remember, like, just watching spoiler season, and as time went on, it just became worse and worse to know that this set was just absolutely garbage. But the whole thing is that after you look at the set, it wasn't garbage. It was very misleading with this set, because people did not value... I mean, we were still in that mentality that reprints were everything. Reprints were what sold sets. And now it's funny, because now if you look at things like Wildsville Drain, reprints are not what sell sets. It's actually new, innovative cards that are selling sets. And so I kind of think that if Baldur's Gate was released now, in 2024 rather than in 2022, with that mentality of reprints, I think the market might have actually liked this set a lot more than it did. But during that time period, without reprints, this set, everyone just thought this thing was the worst thing ever, and it was completely rejected. And I remember just looking at the stockpile that I bought, and it was also as weird because it was like that. It was the perfect time too when distributors like offered me a lot more than I usually get offered. Up to that point, I was disappointing patrons left and right. I can only get you one collector booster. I can only get you one case of draft. I can only get you with like the previous sets. And I always felt bad that I was unable. I could take all this money, but I was unable to actually get people product. And this is the one that I just like. When I was offered by all these distributors, I just went out on it. And man, oh man, did I get burned for this. This Commander Legends. So I got stuck with stockpiles of this, and eventually I was able to go through it, but I think I even had to sell it at a discount, because it was only like a week or 2 weeks later, or like a month later, the distributor started blowing this out. And rather than just sitting on it, I just started offering that blowout price to patrons. So if I wanted to restock on Commander Legends, I could always order it back, and I took a massive loss on this sucker. And so it was still, this set was something that probably set us back months, if not years, for how bad the market just absolutely rejected this. So how is the stream now? I'm looking at 90. Actually, now it seems like it's doing well. It was doing bad just a minute ago. But anyway, now I guess we'll get this open to Bacon Bombs. That's kind of the story time for Commander Legends. So before you start thinking that it's all fun and games, owning a game store or owning a Patreon, there is still a lot of risk. There was a lot of growing pains, a lot of lessons that I had to learn by doing this business. And again, I'm very appreciative of my patrons, because you can find deals anywhere. And I know that I don't even end up saving people a lot of money. I think what I like to tell people is that using my service, I'm kind of a curator of all your needs for gaming. So you can be a one-stop shop to get Dragon Shields. That's kind of sets me apart from a lot of these people that just like push boxes like, here, you can have 2 boxes for X amount, free shipping, here's the price, blah, 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 blah. Where I just try to like, okay, tell me your needs. Let me know exactly what you need. Let me see if I can get it from distributors, and we'll put together a package you can save on shipping and, get what you want. So anyway, that's kind of the story. I don't know where I'm going with this. I think I just got into a ramble because I'm not used to live streaming. Let's just get into this. We'll open up some packs from Baldur's Gate, and maybe I will take some questions or whatnot, or hopefully get this stream to actually work, because it seems like the bitrate is way too high on here. Let me see here if I can mess with it a little bit. Doop, 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 doop. Will this mess with it midstream? I don't know if that's going to do anything, if that just killed it or made it worse. But here we go with the Baldur's Gate Damage Booster Box. So again, thanks to Bacon Bombs for sponsoring this video. Let's see if this first pack is actually destroyed. Again, I try to be as hassle-free as possible with distributors too. So unless it's super damaged, unless there's something super wrong with an order, typically I just like take it, and that's why I've got stuck with a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know how I keep getting Yu-Gi-Oh! I never order the damn thing, but it keeps showing up. But anyway, it is what it is. So, let's see here. Let's get into this and see if we can actually, what are some pulls for this stupid set? We have the Ancient Dragon, the Cooper Ancient Dragon, and I believe Draft Boosters. So this was a weird set too. I think people have done the numbers on this sucker, that there are certain cards that are more available in draft than they are in set. And I think that the Copper Dragon was one of them. And then that was something I also noticed from, I did a huge box opening for a patron that just wanted the, so he wanted the commander decks, and he wanted them all, like I made a big deal that I would break them down for him and then open up the, I was going to do a video on opening up the, what are they called? The sampler packs for the commander decks. And we opened up hundreds of them, and there was not one Copper Dragon. You couldn't get them. You could only get the White Dragon. That was the only one that was available in those sampler packs. So the way that they actually cut the sheets for the sampler packs and the way they actually cut the sheets for set boosters and draft boosters was not done in a mirrored way for each one of these sets. So apparently draft boosters are the better way to go if you want Copper Dragons. But don't quote me on that, because I have no clue exactly. But people that have done these massive box openings, and I should have got scissors, but I came unprepared, so you might have to get my saliva bacon bombs, because I bite things with my teeth. But anyway, that's a rumor. So draft boosters are better than set boosters, apparently, to begin with. I don't know if the curated slot with the list even makes a difference with this one. That's kind of crazy. I wonder if someone's going to put the elbow grease in and try to figure out like which set boosters have the best curated list, because there are some lists that were pretty good. So if you aren't familiar with the list slot in set boosters, they swap them for every set. And so you have to go back painstakingly and look at all the changes that they do over time from Wizards of the Coast when they curate these list cards to see which ones are good and which ones are not. So anyway, let's just get through, and I'll quit rambling here. And maybe one of these days I'll get back into doing. I'm kind of just winging this live stream, and I don't know, again, the quality of this or not. We have some growing pains again to use to stream. Oh, look at that. First hit already. First pack is your Spire Garden. What is the expensive one from this set? Is it going to be one of the blue lands, or it is going to be one of these like red-green? Is that one pretty good? The Spire Garden. They start printing these suckers, though, in like the Universes Beyond Commander decks. I'm not sure if they have or not, but there is our first hit from the Spire Garden. And apparently, me changing the... Apologies for all the dropping of the frames and whatnot. I'll have to mess around with this live stream and figure it out. Every time you think you have something figured out, then something updates and changes. All right, so these Deadly Disputes, are these worth anything? I think these were reprinted again in one of the sets, right? So these are back down to below $1, I think. But these at one point were $4 a pop for the Deadly Disputes, which is crazy that we're in an era where commons can be $4. But it just kind of shows you, I'm going to say the word, utility. Utility is king when you can get $4 commons in Magic the Gathering. And then you have Tarmogoyfs that are, what, like $4 now? So we have the Redirection from the Gale's Redirection and the Skullport Merchant. But anyway, yeah, I guess we can talk on chat. Who wants to like bust my balls here for what's going on? Oh yeah, so again, I'll have to figure out these live streams and whatnot, what I was mentioning earlier, because I do need to sell a kidney. I either need to sell a kidney or I need to start generating some money, because I have a big, geez, Bacon Bombs. You're going to just get all the lands here with the Bountiful Promenade. And this is a triple rare pack with the Raised by Giants and the Ragara, the Gorgut's boss. So anyway, yeah, I'm trying to plan a trip. I'm trying to hear back from some stores in Moldova, because I'll be in Moldova in June is when I plan on going for World War III in Moldova, and I'm pretty sure they'll start a war right when I'm in Moldova, and I'll get stuck there for life. But if I get stuck there, I'm counting on you guys to get me out. But anyway, I've contacted some stores there because I want to do some interviews. So if you guys are familiar with the channel Bald and Bankrupt, I don't know if you've ever seen that channel. Like, that's my dream, is to do stuff like that, but as more in a game store. Like, eventually I want to go and travel and just interview and record game stores and just show the gathering. Like, this is, to me, that's what sets aside tabletop games or card games from video games. Like, video games, you don't have to have any connection whatsoever. But I think the magic of Magic the Gathering is the gathering. And it's like, that's another reason why I can't stand Arena, is it's like all that, maybe I'm just such a boomer. It's all the memories I've had, like meeting people in trips. Isn't this the Baldur's Gate pretty good too now, with all the gates that have been printed? I can't remember. Another triple rare pack with the man, these draft packs can have lots of rares in them. But anyway, to me, that's the whole point to a thing like Magic the Gathering. Like, if I was just gonna pound for pound compare games, I mean, of course you get that itch, that creative itch from Magic the Gathering to be able to. But I mean, you could do a different sort of card game, and even like, that's just kind of grinding my gears too with Arena, that they're so focused on alchemy. And I get it. You can balance things real time. You don't have these mistakes that then get put in cardboard, and you can tinker around with things. But still, I think there's better ways through a video game to actually make a game that is more interactive or balanced. So the whole point to tabletop games, the whole point to board games, and is to experience them with other people face to face. And I think in this day of the millennials and the Zoomers, that has pretty much evaporated. That we don't have bowling nights. We don't have a lot of social gatherings like we used to. I mean, I used to, every time I watch things like Stranger Things, it makes me kind of sad, because I grew up going to malls, like meeting friends at malls. And, that's pretty much obsolete now, that, people don't do that anymore. And it's kind of sad to see that with gaming too, that, Magic started as this cardboard game, and they went through this whole era of really trying to push the whole Magic online, and especially when Arena came out, to really push Magic Arena, because they realized their cost basis was so much smaller by creating digital cards and trying to go this cardboard route and the really cumbersome way of trying to distribute it, but where they can make more of the profit margins just by doing the digital releases. But yeah, me too. Miss the arcades. The arcades are a good one too. Really miss arcades, and when we had to figure out ways to entertain ourselves. Well, you're getting saliva on this one, Bacon Bumps. It is not. This pack refused to crack. But anyway, so back to my dream. Like, my dream is to really see. Like, I wanted to go into Ukraine. It's way too dangerous to go into Ukraine right now, especially if I was going to go into places like Odessa, which is on the border. Like, that'd be the first city by Romania or Moldova, because it would be super interesting to go in and see how, the things that the war is affecting game stores. Like, I don't think anyone's really looked at that, where, anyone with money has pretty much gone, has left the country, like a lot of families and stuff, but there's a lot of people that are still basically trapped there. They can't go in there, especially have a business too. And from what I've been researching, most of those stores are still operating, like restaurants and game stores and whatnot are still operating in even parts of Ukraine that are currently bombarded every day. And so I think it'd just be fun to go in, and interesting to go in and interview these stores and see how they're faring. I mean, it'd be fun to go into Russia and do the same thing. Go into Russia and see how, sanctions and things are affecting game stores, and just the overall, like, the what are gamers doing in those environments? Take politics out of it, take and just see the real world effects of something that you and I, hold near and dear, just going to our game store, and how that is being, affected by the situations that are going on in those countries. But anyway, yeah, it's way too dangerous to go to Ukraine, so it's probably too dangerous to go to Moldova, but yeah, it's happening. It's already planned. So anyway, I'll have to do some more either live streams or figure out ways that I don't have to sell a kidney to pay for this, because, oh man, it's expensive right now to go anywhere. Even United States travel is so insanely expensive, and I am but a lowly cardboard slinger. So anyway, Wonder if I can get this. I'm going to have to figure out how to fix this whole bitrate sucker. We'll get to it. But, yeah. Any other questions that any of you nerds have for me? How's the good old Bacon Bombs doing? Do you even lift, bro? Yeah, it's kind of crazy with a lot of my Patreon is some of these guys are OGs from the very beginning. They've stuck through and still harassing me to open up stupid booster boxes for you because apparently people want to see my ugly mug on stream. But what do we have? Like 2 lands so far off of this booster box, and how much stuff do you need to actually make your money back on? I mean, how many lands do you need? What are they even going for these days? Is there a couple other uncommons and commons that are worth a pretty penny in this set? I know we have the Opposition Agent and a few other rares that are worth money, but I thought there were some commons and uncommons. I remember looking at Card Kingdom's buy list, and there was just a lot of like really bulky stuff that they had for like 5 cents. Like this sucker, like one of these dragons was like on the buy list. Like I don't know if this is Fang Dragon or not, but yeah. And this is what this stream is. Blur. So let me try one more time to fix this stupid thing. I don't know if it allows you midstream to change the bitrate because it's not. Well, maybe I got to do it. Nope. Womp womp. Yeah, I'll have to fix it next time. It's too late now for this one. So, like I said, I didn't plan on streaming too late today. Just wanted to get Bacon Bombs off my case because I've been telling him for months that I'd do a live stream of opening something for him. And his Lord of the Rings didn't show up. It's still stuck in California or stuck in Oregon or somewhere where we got half our package. That's one of the other lovely things of dealing with the store is all the misship packages and all of the other shenanigans that happen. We actually had one of our pre-releases delayed. That was fun. Excuse me. So anyway, yeah. So back to Bald and Bankrupt. So if you've ever seen his channel, he just goes around and looks at Soviet architecture. Oop, there we go. There's your ancient gold dragon. That is full art that used to be cool, but now collector's boosters have made them like the most common version of everything. So now no one cares. Isn't the gold dragon the second most worth one? I believe. And this one might have gone up because of the rolling D20s out of the Fallout dude. The Fallout dude that wants to roll dice. I'm not sure if it went up or not. So, Nature's Lore, that used to be a expensive uncommon. So anyway, like I said, with where Bald and Bankrupt just goes and looks at Soviet architecture, I think it'd be fun. And then again, there's like places in like Dubai. I've noticed like game stores. Every time I look at a map of somewhere, I always search for game stores and just go and look at game stores. And man, there are some cool ones. And again, I kind of like the dives, kind of like my store. I think that's another thing that Wizards has done is they've gone full head on trying to really promote these premium stores. And a lot of locations, premium is just not. It's just there's no way you're going to be able to go premium. There's just too much overhead. And maybe because I grew up with dives, a lot of my early game stores were just little hole in the walls that were run by some nerdy dudes that wanted a store. I remember one of my first Magic Gathering game stores that I ever went to was this tiny. It was in actually a hobby shop where they raced RC cars and had like 3 little tables, circular tables, with these chairs, and it was so dimly lit in there. And that was my first experience with it. And they had all sorts of nerdy things going on in there, and I just thought it was the coolest place. But obviously the place wasn't making money, but it was just so cool that people had made these little dives to try to promote games. And I think that Wizards is really, like I've said, that Wizards of the Coast has tried to turn this into like a yuppie game, to turn this into like young urban professionals That's who they want to play their game, and they've kind of forsaken the nerd. Like they don't even like their target demographic anymore. The people that actually got them rich in the first place, and that's what they've kind of pandered over. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that've been very upset with these last few sets, and I'm with them with this. Like Thunder Junction could have been cool. Like I live in cowboy country. There's a lot of cool things you can do with cowboys and Indians type thing, but they butchered it so bad. They basically turned it into Brokeback Mountain. instead of like this really gritty western, they turned it into kind of like a comical like almost drag show cowboy theme. And it's just like, hey, didn't we just go through this? Because that's what they did. Just the last detective one they did with New Capenna. They turned mob boss into like a super gay. And again, nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that sort of theme. But it seems like every set keeps to have this whole like not gritty fantasy. It's almost like I said, gay fantasy, like kind of the circus kind of clown kind of. Like I said, the best way to describe it is kind of drag showy. And it's just, oh man, it'd be nice to get back to some grit, to some real fantasy. Have that. There we go. We got our third one with the luxury suite. Yeah, because remember this set, when luxury suite, the Battle Bonds, that was like Battle Bonds 2 is this weird, super comical, super gay, super stadium of fighting, but it wasn't like this fight to the death thing. It was more, yeah, I don't know. There you go. How can I offend everyone in the chat today? But yeah, that's the whole problem with that is you can just see where their demographic is. If they've just really forsaken that fantasy, that kind of nerd, the feel for it, to try to really appeal to a certain, what do you even call that? What's the stereotype I'm looking for that? I'm trying to think of like a TV show that best exemplifies that. I mean, what's that stupid Firefly? That's what it is. They want it all to be Firefly. Now I'm gonna get some real hate because I just pissed on everyone's favorite show. Hey, Bacon, I was gonna go lifting today, but I'm opening your stupid cardboard instead, so you have no one to blame but yourself. Got a late start going. Got the dogs for a walk, but haven't got much done today. Do plan on it, like I said, getting some videos out if I can get some actual recording done. But hey, we have the battle Angels of Tyre. But I mean, that's what I've really noticed with Magic though, is Magic's gone. So I mean, you can make the argument that Magic was originally kind of this steampunky with the Urza's War and stuff, but it still had some very gritty fantasy. And it seems like we haven't had a set that is back to that fantasy-based theme without some weird, talking elephants. And cute dogs and talking elephants and people that look like clowns and people that look like. And I noticed that there's been some like internal documents and stuff, or just chatter that people have wanted to get away with that grittiness to try to make it more playful. So if you notice this set, the guns are all more playful. The number they really want to get rid of violence in the game, and it's replacing guns with lollipops type thing. And this is look at these cards. I mean, this is a dark, gritty fantasy of death and destruction. Like every Magic set has been about a plane basically being destroyed, and it's like we've had to tiptoe around like actual violence and the actuality of the horrors of what would be going on in these planes. And again, replace it with talking elephants and stuff like that. And so I get the cutesy stuff. It's good in doses, but then when every set is the cutesy stuff, it just gets so tiresome and repetitive. And that's what I really feel about Thunder Junction. Is Thunder Junction was just a massive miss because they could have done a cool Western themed, because that's what they used to do. Look like Arabian Nights. Look at a lot of these things in the early days of Magic where they did these themes before. This isn't something that's unheard of to do something like a Western. But the way that they turned it, and this, what was the artwork of the centaur that's got the spurs and the gun that shoots lightning bolts rather than bullets, and it's just like, oh my goodness. Well, it's just over the top. It's just way too over the top. But Is Battle Angels a nice hit? So, yeah. I don't know. There's your like 5th Deadly Dispute. That's probably where the price of these suckers have gone down. And you could have made back your money with Deadly Disputes. But now I think that they are pretty much bulk again, or 40 cents or something, because they were in another thing. They were in another reprint. So we got the Taunting Kobolds. 2 more packs to go. I think we hit 3 lands in this. Again, $75. I think I was gonna make like this whole market thing, and it just turned into me like ranting and talking about nonsense here. But yeah, basically, you get what you get. I don't even know what mood I'm gonna be in when I do a video. You guys act like I actually like prepare things. It's funny with the last video I did with the Dimir, this sucker, the Dimir Control. I think I was looking for copies of cards to make this. I'm like, when was this card? When was this? And I saw these sitting around. I'm like, huh, this has to be worth it now, just to crack for stuff, because all the cards are still relevant and standard. And then I just decided to load up the camera and shoot the video, and I had no clue to get 11,000 views. I give up. I don't know what I'm doing wrong or what I'm doing right. You never know with things. You never know when things are gonna. Guess I should just stay consistent, right? But anyway, last pack for Bacon Bombs. And again, we'll have to set these up again. I'll have to get this stupid camera working with because I know that it's super blurry on your end, and I don't know what's up with it. We had everything working last time around, and it is back to give me problems. But if it's something that we can hang out like once a week or something, it'd be fun to do these little videos and rant. Every time I do them, I have fun doing them, and then when Bacon Bombs is like, hey, you got to do another one, I'm like, no, I don't want to. I'd rather do tape stuff and just publish it. I guess this is what happens though. You don't get these crazy rants of me talking into the wind, because I am a boomer. There you have it. We ended up with three things here. So what was our most expensive card for those who've been keeping track here? So mythics wise, we got the Battle Angels. Isn't the Blade of Selves? That's a good one. We got the Luxury Suite, and another mythic with the Nautiloid ship. And of course the Ancient Gold Dragon was a big hit. And okay, if you didn't break even on this box, I don't know what box can. I mean, there was a lack of foils, but who cares about foils, right? The collector's edition's another mythic here with the Elminster Simulacrum. Isn't the Fraying Line? Was this one? No, this one wasn't. The Kindred Discovery that was worth something back in the day, but has been reprinted too many times. And yep, the other 2 lands with the this has got to be close. This sucker's got to be close to, breaking even. Yeah. That's another one. Kaladesh. Like, remember when Kaladesh came out? It was like the steampunk type feel. Like that felt more in line with Magic the Gathering, old school, than this new like Western that would have been easily, able to do something with it. But oh boy, I don't know the direction that like, again, I'm not one of those people, like I hear all these people moaning and crying about how, they're quitting Magic over this and this and that. And I always joke, because they could put Magic with little pixels and I'd still like it, because it's the thing that makes me most excited to play Magic, is just the way that it plays out. So it's actually the mechanics of Magic. I have yet to find any game, and if people talk about One Piece, and they talk about Lorcana, and they talk about Star Wars Unlimited, all those are okay. They're okay. They do not have that same flow and the same kind of chess pokerish strategy, like really, like same thing with Hearthstone. And people got really into Hearthstone, like, man, Hearthstone's just clicking, but like there's very little decisions to be making in Hearthstone. The biggest comparison I'd love to make with Hearthstone is when you'd see the finals, the championships of Hearthstone being played versus Magic the Gathering. And yes, Magic the Gathering is so boring, because you see the guys they're thinking, they're computing, they're thinking, oh, what do I do in this scenario? They're thinking of everything possible they can get off the top of their deck, or everything their opponent could have, or everything. And it's just, the turns are so painstakingly slow. But I mean, it just also shows the amount of strategy in the game. Whereas Hearthstone was like, the finals of Hearthstone was click, 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 2-second decisions, because there really wasn't lots of decisions to be making. And once in a blue moon, there would be like an actual decision. And that's kind of how I feel now. I played Star Wars Unlimited as well as Lorcana. Is there's even though there's some neat little mechanics in it, and there's especially Lorcana is really fun to build decks. Lorcana is super fun to build decks, and not so fun to play decks. It's kind of like Commander is in Magic the Gathering. It's like, oh, these synergies. You find all these cool synergies and whatnot. But eventually it's like you start really yearning for Magic, the way that it kind of plays through and the intense decision makings. So I always joke that I'd play pixels of if the cards just had little pixels and were named like fruit fly, and I play that. I don't really care about. I've never really cared about the fantasy theme and stuff. And so when people are quitting Magic over it and stuff, I get it, but I don't know. To me, it still is more of a game than it is like a lifestyle or like a storyline or whatnot. But anyway, that is all I've got for today. We've streamed here for long enough, Bacon Bombs. Now you can get off my back. I did it. I pushed live, and it was a absolute disaster because I can't get this stupid thing to fix the bitrate. I'll look into that, and maybe we'll do some other stuff. Maybe I can actually open up some products that I've got rotting here. As you can see, my back shelf, I've got tons and tons of stuff that I probably should be selling. We were in a market where I absolutely did not want to sell anything because it'd be taking a loss at basically everything that was invested in 2022 through on out. But anyway, I appreciate everyone for sticking around through my chaos. And again, I still have some fun things planned in the future. Hopefully I can get my act together and be more consistent. And hopefully these pretty decent view counts we've been getting on YouTube will keep me motivated. But any last words of advice? Any last comments before I get out of here? Niet? Da? I will quit speaking Ruski. But yeah, appreciate everyone for all their support. And I will see you in the next stream.